What is up, Dino Crew, and welcome to another gameplay roundup. This time it's obviously Batman the Telltale. We've just finished it. I absolutely adore the Telltale games. It's such a brilliant way of telling a story, allowing you to make the choices and almost, involving you in every step of the game, where some games almost have cutscenes where you're sat watching it and going, oh, what's going on? What's going to happen next? What's my character going to say? You're in control of your own story, really. And for a game like Batman, that's really incredible, and the way it does it. Even the combat, I know it's QTE and a lot of people don't like QTE, but it molds the game, and it really makes it feel like, you are playing as Batman, and the choices that you make affect Gotham. And, I just wanted to sit down and talk about it, because this is one of those games where the credits roll and you think about the boss fights or mechanics or collectibles. This is one of these games where you finish it and just sit there for a second, because it stays with you. It isn't what you did with your hands, it's what you did with your decisions. Let's set the like target for this video to 20 likes. Leave a comment if you've played a Telltale game, which one has been your favourite one. I love reading through all your comments, and don't forget to subscribe as well. I really do appreciate each and every one of you being here. As you see in the background, there's some gameplay going on, and this is probably one of the better sides of this Telltale Batman game, where you get to link different actions together. So obviously here we're linking different scenarios to beating people up, but when you're detecting crimes and trying to work out what's happened, you have to link the crime scene together, and I think that's just an extraordinary piece of gameplay from Telltale. They didn't have to do that. They could have just let us walk up and go, oh, that's that story, that's what's happened. But it makes you think about linking it. And for me, I genuinely believe Batman Telltale proves that the choice matters more than combat. Because if you strip the game right back, the combat is simple. It's QTE, as I mentioned. It's rhythm prompts, it's cinematic brawls that look cool, but don't really test you in a traditional sense. And that was never the point. The combat exists purely to move you forward, to get you to the next conversation, the next moral dilemma, the next moment where the game is quietly asking you, should this be the right scenario for you? And then it refuses to tell you what was right and what was wrong. In Batman's combat is the proof. It proves Batman is strong, skilled, unstoppable. Look at the Arkham games. Each punch, each powerful connection, it feels weighty. But in this game, even the punches don't feel that weighty. In Telltale, combat is just a transition. The real test is what you say, who you protect, who you lie to, and who you're willing to hurt emotionally in order to keep Gotham standing. And that's the thing I think a lot of people missed when they played this game when it first came out. They criticised it for not being mechanically deep enough, for not having enough freedom in the fights, or for being too scripted. But that criticism completely misses what Telltale games are actually trying to do. They weren't making Batman a power fantasy. They were making Batman responsible for his actions. This version of Batman isn't defined by how hard he hits, he's defined the consequences of his choices. And those consequences don't disappear after a cutscene. They follow you, they linger, they change how people look at Bruce Wayne, not just Batman. Earlier in this game you get to choose between saving Harvey Dent or saving Catwoman. Now obviously I chose in my playthrough to save Catwoman, and that is where we meet. Obviously Two-Face, he gets smashed in the head with the lights, his face gets burned, and that is the birth of Two-Face. Obviously we did it as Batman, so straight away Two-Face doesn't like Batman. Then obviously as the game progresses, Bruce Wayne gets a bit, injected with a poison, and Harvey Dent sees him do that, and then Two-Face now doesn't like Bruce Wayne, so effectively he doesn't like either of us. But if we'd have chose to save him, would it have been completely different? You spend a lot of time in the suit, sure, but the game is constantly reminding you that you are Batman in a mask, not the man underneath. Every major decision pushes you towards the version of Bruce. Are you honest, even when honesty costs you control? Do you manipulate people for the greater good, even if it destroys your trust? Do you prioritise Gotham, or do you protect the people who are closest to you? There are so many moments where neither option feels good. That's exactly why they work. You're not choosing between good and evil. You're choosing between damage control options, and the game makes sure you feel the weight of that. We made a choice between going to Alfred and stopping Two-Face, or going and stopping Penguin. Because we chose to go to Alfred in the mansion, we lost control of our bat tech for a couple of episodes, and it really does force you to think about that, because Batman without his bat tech is basically just a fighter in armour, and even then he didn't have his full armour. In this episode you can see this is just a suit, it's not actually his full on armour. And that is crucial, because now every little action I make in this game is going to affect Batman. And the big one for me is There were multiple times playing this game where I caught myself hesitating, not because I didn't understand the choice, but because I understood it too well. You know, whichever option you pick, something is going to break. A relationship, a belief, a version of Bruce you were trying to hold on to. And the game doesn't rush you through that feeling, it lets you silence sitting there. Sometimes the decisions you have to make are snappy. Sometimes the decisions are quite long and you get to listen to what the other person's saying. And you never quite know which one's going to be coming up. Is it a quick decision that you have to make on the spot? Or is it a decision that you've got the time to listen to and think about? And the game really does well at handling the Joker. John Doe is one of the most fascinating takes on the Joker we've had, because he isn't born a villain, he isn't chaos incarnated from the start. He's insecure, he's desperate for validation, and most importantly, he's watching you. Every interaction with him feels loaded, because you're not deciding how Batman reacts, you're shaping how another person understands the world, and that person is the Joker. The game never outright tells you that you're creating the Joker, but you feel it happening. Every time you choose to manipulate him instead of trusting him, every time you push him away instead of guiding him, you see something hardening behind his eyes. And when the split finally comes between Vigilante Joker and Villain Joker, it doesn't feel like branching path, it feels like the inevitable result of everything that came before. That's why this version of the Joker hits so hard, because it's the only time I've played a Joker story where I didn't fear or hate him, I felt responsible for him. When things went wrong, I didn't think, that's the Joker being the Joker. I thought, what did I do to help create this? And again, none of that comes from combat. It comes from conversations, from tone, from choices that feel small at the time, but echo later on. The same is in the relationship with Alfred. Alfred doesn't care how many fights you're in. He doesn't care how intimidating Batman looks. What he cares about is whether Bruce is there still underneath the cape. And the game constantly forces you to decide whether protecting Gotham is worth losing yourself. Some of the hardest choices in the entire series have nothing to do with villains. They're about honesty, trust, and whether you're willing to let someone you see as a human instead of a symbol. You can win every physical confrontation in the game and still end up completely alone. And that's one of the most honest things a Batman story has ever done. It makes you realise that being Batman isn't about winning, it's about what it costs. Now, Arkham asks Batman, can he stop the Gotham villains? Telltale asks whether Bruce Wayne can survive being Batman. Arkham makes you feel that the city needs you. Telltale makes you wonder whether the city is slowly destroying you. And that's why I think finishing this series feels less like completing the game and more like finishing a TV show. When the credits rolled, I wasn't thinking about combat arenas or boss fights. I was thinking about conversations I wish I'd handled differently, people I might have pushed too far, moments where there was no perfect answer, only the least damaging one. That's the lasting power of this game. It doesn't give you power and then let you forget about it. It gives you responsibility and then asks why you live with it. So when people say Batman's Telltale is light on gameplay, I actually think that's wrong. And it's the wrong way to frame it. It's heavy where it matters. It's heavy in consequence. It's heavy in character. It's heavy in uncomfortable realisation that something, doing the right thing, still hurts people. Batman Telltale proves that the combat doesn't make a great story game. Choice does. And sometimes the most powerful thing a game can do is letting you know when you throw a punch, that punch might come back and haunt you. It's forcing you to make a decision you're still thinking about long after the screen fades to black. And that's why, even now, this series still stands as one of the strongest examples of what story-driven games can be when they trust a player, not with skill, but with responsibility. As I say, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I love reading through all of it. Don't forget to let me know your favourite Telltale game. New game will be coming out on Monday as well, so stay tuned for that one, and I will catch you all for that episode then. Bye-bye, guys.